All right, hello, Tyler Bryden here. I hope everything is going well. This is the first of a video in a little bit of a series, which I'm basically looking at, in this case, Google Chrome extensions, but I'm going to, sort of extend this to browser extensions as a whole. And if you've ever seen me sort of, sharing screens or everything in any of these videos, you can see, well, first of all, I've got a lot of tabs open. And then second of all, I generally have a lot of extensions, and I'm actually limited in my extension games that are active, although you can see I got a bunch more here. And I would say, there's some concerns around the performance of this, and also just in general, Google Chrome is a little wild lately, just in terms of performance and for me, page loading and some problems. So I think there is some consequences to running this many extensions at once, but there are some ones that are super valuable, super interesting, ones that I've used for years that I struggle to turn off even when I'm trying to optimize performance. And I wanted to cover some of those here today. Actually, just one of them in particular, cover them in these series and share why they're valuable and generally, how I'm using them often to improve the research that I'm doing, improve the content that I'm creating. And, I hope through sharing some of those insights, sharing some of that process even, that you, can find maybe an valuable extension to add into your own stack. If you've got ones on your side, please let me know. I would love to hear. I don't know if I need to add any more, but I will always accept a good one. And today I wanted to look specifically at a Chrome extension called TabCopy. Now there are seemingly some, there's different variations of this on Chrome, and then obviously there's Firefox and Mozilla and all these. I don't know if Mozilla has it actually, but there's extensions sort of added on to different browsers. I'm still, despite all the security concerns and privacy concerns and all this, still using Google Chrome. It does a lot for me, and I guess I inherently take that risk by doing this. So apologize for peeking a little bit there. I'm still working on a mic. A new mic is coming. And what I wanted to look on at is specifically TabCopy and looking at how it does improve research and content. And so it seems so simple, and it is actually a very simple Chrome extension. Last updated, doesn't even need to be updated really. So it seems like I would say that there is not maybe that much innovation specifically on the TabCopy Chrome extension itself. And I hope maybe that either an alternative comes up or that they continue to innovate on it. You can see sort of the overview is quickly copy tabs to the clipboard. And basically that allows you to do it in a variety of formats. And so there are sort of a bunch of built-in formats. Now, I don't see those formats when I'm doing them, but I'll show you a little bit of demo of generally what I'm seeing, the URL compact, the expanded. And then I will show you, why this is valuable and how I use it. And now actually reading this, I'm a bit curious. How do I do the JSON and the HTML and the HTML table? So I will be checking that and maybe reporting back for a second version of that. Interesting here already, because that opens up a lot of things, although I just don't see that in my version. So that's not going to do it. Okay, I'm going to come back to this video with how can I get these other formats, because I'm not, you can see this is 2016, and some of the reviews and some of the feedback is that they wish that there were actually more formats, and it's showing that sort of in screenshots, but I'm not personally experiencing that. So now that I'm seeing that, I want it, and I also would like more options, but I'm going to persevere and continue to show you like how does this process actually work and why I think it's valuable. And first I'll show you specifically on YouTube. Sorry, you have to see my face and sort of the Inception-like piece here. But you can see basically when I'm creating content, I'm coming up with a topic. And just as an example, this was a video that did well, and it's how to get access to DALL-E to image generation. So generally I start with a search term. That's how I think about a lot of things online in content creation. And I say, okay, this is what I'm searching or I'm interested in. This is what I'm guessing other people are searching in. So I'm going to sort of type that search into Google to actually see what comes up. And then, I've got that. Great to see. Hey, Tyler on the top there. Awesome. And now I've got a bunch of sort of top links here that are super valuable. And if you've sort of heard about this content process, it's like sort of called the skyscraper technique, where you take sort of some of the top content, and then you figure out what's working on it, what's not, where are the gaps, where are the differentiators, and then how can you make a better piece of content. And so that's sort of my goal with every kind of piece of content that I actually create. And So what I would do generally, take this, pop it open, and I would start to read, some of the content here. I've got a Google Doc, and I'm, writing notes in the Google Doc. That's helping me with the bullet points that I'm touching on in the conversation. And if you, see my videos, you often see that it's not as, scripted as maybe other videos. And some people like that. Some people don't. I apologize either way. And then I start to sort of format that script or flow that is going through the actual final video that I'm going to create. And I don't do that much editing or anything, so that's pretty necessary for me to make. And then the other piece is it becomes a valuable resource. So in that regards, I've got a couple notes. So what is OpenAI and DALL-E? So that's sort of the things like, okay, as I'm thinking about this question, first of all, we need to sort of set a base foundation of understanding of who these organizations are, and then what is the technology, and then some other sort of questions that emerge. And this is actually a pretty simple one with not that many links, but you can start to see, okay, what's valuable here, and this is a little bit of a differentiator that I wanted to show, is that there are a couple different options for you to then grab the links that are open. So in this case, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tabs open. And what I can do, let's go up to this TabCopy, and I've got a couple different options here, and I'll just show you all of them through. So in one case, I've got the actual link, and I can go in here, and this is sort of where I'm actually putting this. It's sort of a draft, and you can see that now the link, so it's already clicked, sort of hyperlinked here, and it's in a very simple format. And this is really good for specifically websites because the anchor tag or sort of like the link and how it's titled is valuable for the website that you're pointing to, and obviously context and good information for the person who is about to click on that link. And if you label that right, it becomes clickable, it becomes interesting, and it also gives that nice sort of juice over to the site, as well as shows search engines that you created a valuable enough link and content that they were interested in clicking at it. Sounds counterintuitive to send someone off your site, but it's actually a valuable thing to do, especially when used right. And for myself, I like to specifically pin it in a resources section like this. So I've got the episode summary and everything here, and just so you can see sort of the rest of it, I've got sort of the and I might update this a little bit at the end, but I've got the episode summary, and then I've got the resources below. I'll edit these, and this is outside the scope of this, but I've got the hashtags and everything there. So now what I want to show you is a couple different variations. And again, now I'm curious about these other variations, but I am not going to be able to get them in this video, but I might actually even come back with another version of this. So in this case, I now have the compact, and you can see that in this case, if I'm trying to streamline the process, it's not actually automatically hyperlinked. And so for me, this compact version of the sort of function isn't necessarily valuable. However, it could be valuable depending on your own sort of preference in this case. So what's really important, I find, for YouTube is because you can't sort of like, you can't hyperlink this. You actually need to drop the link below, but you want to be able to give some context and understanding of what that link is above. And so specifically, you need to separate those, which is different from what I showed you sort of on the first website version, where you're able to do this successfully. It creates value for you, creates value for the end user and reader, and then for the search engine here. You can do that compact version, but what I would actually recommend is then going to the expanded version. And then I can now, if I go like this, I can drop it, and you can see it's actually much more structured. So you've got the title on top, and then you've got the link below. And again, this isn't necessarily valuable for me on the website, because to get this to be hyperlinked, I literally need to go like that to make it happen. So if I've got 9 links, it's not so bad. But if I have 25 links, then all of a sudden it becomes a bit of a problem. And so in this case, the expanded version is actually where it comes into play for your YouTube descriptions. And, you might be asking, like, this seems like a lot. It seems like you're, a little bit too passionate about a Chrome extension, or just like a very simple function. But if you're doing the research, if you're doing the work, it can save, first of all, a ton of time. You might not necessarily even be doing content creation like me, but you're going through sort of a research session. You've got a bunch of tabs open, and you want to save that into a Google Doc or an Evernote file or OneNote file, wherever you keep your sort of resources as you're doing work and research. And, for you to go through and copy all of those at once, it's going to be unnecessarily time taking. And you can reduce that all while having really nice proper labels. And for me, it's very easy to then go back and reopen sort of like a browsing session or research session there. And of course there's history and all of that, but generally, especially if you are, say you're adding references in something that you're writing or the content you're doing, this becomes much more easily retrievable, copy and pastable than the history version that you're going to deal with in Chrome. And so in this, the title of this video is specifically how does it help you with like research and content. I've sort of laid out the research part, and again using that sort of skyscraper technique to do a bit of research into the topic or a search term or something that you're interested in, finding the top sources, and then either using that to figure out differentiators for content, or then actually using them as references in your site. And if you have that, it seems to have some sort of contextual signaling to search engines, and understanding that you have an understanding of what good quality content is. So I've seen something like that. And then on the content creation side, specifically whether I'm sharing in videos on here or I've got the website here, and I still think there's improvements. I'm moving pretty quick on my content creation process, and you can see like I could definitely clean up some of these links. A lot of people would rather prefer them to see them like embedded in this transcript or something like that. I would love to do that, but I'm working on Speak AI. That'll come maybe, and that is probably the best method. But for quickly adding resources to your site, building those hyperlinks and building that contextual understanding, TabCopy is a fantastic tool. And I would say, overall, and there might be versions of this that are like other versions of sort of a similar thing that are, so there is like a related, there's lots of tab copy and paste, and maybe some of these I'll actually grab. I'm going to grab all these because I can see some with some, quite a few reviews. This one does 70,000 users, so I'm interested to see 10,000 copy all URLs. Interesting. So I'll share this. Yeah, so it doesn't necessarily maybe have text JSON custom. So I'm going to see, if there's actually a better version of this, and it's still not updated that much or anything, but there's quite a few users on that, 200,000. So it looks like TabCopy second most popular, and then Copy All URLs with 400 reviews, productivity 200,000 reviews. And it looks like if I add this to Chrome, one sec, let's check this out and see what we got here. So the option is, super cool, HTML, JSON, or custom. What is custom? I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm looking at this, and I've deviated in my own video. I apologize for that, but this is super interesting. I might even have to reference either one of these in the video, and all these links will be included using the extension itself, as you can expect. And what I would like to say is that this isn't just sort of theoretically me saying this and thinking that this is valuable. I've seen the speed improvements and efficiency that's come from it, but more than that, I've seen the compounding success in search engine content and YouTube content. And some of it I think is this sort of speed of research that I can do, but other is just literally embedding those links directly on the site, as I sort of showed you when I did the version like this, and I go link and drop it in, or also the other version where I've shown you on YouTube where it's expanded and adding references. And what I've even seen from a content piece is that people are using those resources. They're thanking me for their resources, and then YouTube actually seems to be, because of the title, gathering a little bit of steam and some momentum or context from the content in the description to then help appear in the rankings beyond just the actual title of the video itself and everything there. So I think overall, I've seen in that time, video view from almost 10 to 300 subscribers, almost over 30,000 views on YouTube, and like taking it from like 5 clicks a day on my website to sometimes like 400 clicks a day using this tab copy and sort of link addition to the process. And I again think it could probably be a little bit cleaner, maybe a little bit tidier in some of the formats, but overall, if you're efficiently creating content and trying to do your best even as a sort of solo creator, etc., very helpful tool. Highly recommend. I specifically pulled out TabCopy Chrome extension, but there are a couple other TabCopy or like copying tab extensions that maybe are worthwhile exploring and have different format. Now that I've seen that there's the option for a CSV format, that gets me really fired up, and I'm wondering how can I make that happen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna do some more extensions videos, and hopefully you find them valuable. A couple of ones that'll be coming up are Do Soup, Grammarly, the Nimbus screenshot piece. These are more for advertising, but Facebook Pixel Helper and Google Ad, Honey ad block, find and replace, the Zoom scheduler, and then there's many more that are obviously enabled, and then I've got some in the back pocket disabled. But I hope some of those are valuable for you, and I'll try to provide the context of why they're valuable and then how I'm using them, just like I did in this video. So I've been talking for 15 minutes about this. I think I'm out of here. I hope you like it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all those good things. Thank you very much for checking this out. This has been Tyler Bryden. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.